Lattafa and clone fragrances in general have been growing very popular through the help of TikTok commissions. But instead of buying what TikTokers tell you to get, buy what a fragrance enthusiast like myself would suggest. I have for you 10 Lattafa fragrances that'll have you right for life. First up is Art of Nature 2 EDP. I love this bottle design. It may not look like much, but compared to its inspiration being Parfum de Marly's Altair, bottle design wise, Lattafa got it. The top notes consist of bergamot, mandarin, and apple, which lets you know this will be fruity and sweet. Typically described as one of the most sophisticated citruses, bergamot brings a refined freshness, and the natural juiciness of the apple complements both the mandarin and bergamot. The middle notes are orange blossom, rose, and cardamom. The orange blossom introduces a creamy floral sweetness, and the rose provides a velvety, smooth, sweet, soft aroma to this fragrance. Meanwhile, cardamom brings a warm, spicy feel which is comfortable and intriguing. Guaiac wood and cedar wood pair together perfectly to make this great base, while vanilla creates a sweet, rich, lingering trail that's not only memorable but alluring. Next one is interesting because I haven't smelled a fragrance that smells like bread. Brioche Vanille EDP. The initial notes you'll notice is the bergamot, freesia, and brioche accord. Bergamot provides a refreshing clarity, which sets the tone for the rest of this fragrance. The brioche accord evokes the aroma of baked bread, rich and slightly yeasty, while the freesia gives off a delicate, airy floral sweetness. In the base, there's benzoin, vanilla, and praline, which evokes the slight sweetness you'll smell of the brioche baking. Let's talk about the Gourmand Lattafa Serre EDP. This is inspired by Tom Ford's Vanilla Sex, but I'm gonna keep it 100. I'd prefer this over it. Cinnamon introduces a warm, spicy sweetness, and with the bitter almond which gives a nutty aroma, both give a sense of coziness and warmth. In the middle notes, there's jasmine and pomerose. The jasmine and pomerose blend smoothly with the base gourmand notes, which leads us to the core sweetness of this fragrance, which comes from the vanilla, amber, and tonka bean, giving this fragrance a gourmand warm aroma throughout the entire scent. You don't only get a cheaper and better option, you also just get a sick bottle. As soon as I seen this, I thought about Omega Shenron from Dragon Ball. Yes, I'm a nerd. Fourth on the list is a fresh tropical fragrance, which is Lattafa Assad Zanzibar. Top notes consist of black pepper and sea lavender. Black pepper's dry, spicy warmth makes the introduction of this fragrance memorable. Then the sea lavender has a marine freshness, making a calming, airy quality to this fragrance. The middle notes would get you a creamy tropical freshness from the salty coconut water and the iris, which enhances the softness of this fragrance. Then the base is vanilla, which balances and smoothens out this fragrance, and incense adding a smoky addition and enhancing the warmth. This fragrance can be worn casually or if you're on a tropical trip. Let me bring in a sophisticated fruity fragrance, Qaed Al Oud Sublime. This starts out with apple and lychee, both bringing a juicy, fruity sweetness. The rose provides a luxurious, silky smoothness to the scent, making it alluring. Next notes you'll notice is the plum, making this fruitier, and due to its tartness, it balances out the sweetness of those previous fruits. Jasmine is also in the middle notes, which amplifies the sweet and juiciness of those fruity notes. Then the base notes are vanilla, moss, and patchouli. The moss and patchouli give a green and earthy edge, toning down the sweet and juiciness of the scent, while providing a rich smoothness to the fruity notes. Qaed Al Oud Sublime has the longevity and quality of a niche fragrance or designer fragrance, but without the cost. We have yet another fruity fragrance, but more intense on the fruitiness. We have Lattafa Confidential Private Gold. Top notes are nothing but fruits such as peach, pear, raspberry, passion fruit, and cassis. I know the fruity notes can sound a little bit overpowering, but trust in me and the process. There's lily of the valley in the middle notes, smelling clean and green. Its natural freshness helps balance out the sweetness of the fruity notes. Then in the base there's vanilla and sandalwood, with the vanilla enhancing the juicy sweetness of the fruit and sandalwood giving a touch of sleek woodiness. Additionally, in the base there's more earthy and floral notes, both enhancing and balancing the overall gourmand aroma in this. Xerjoff's Herba Pura is the inspiration behind this fragrance, and I'd have to say this is way more intense than it. More intense doesn't always mean better, but in this case, this is definitely a competitor. Next is a more relaxed fruity fragrance that's more focused on being refined than intense. Vintage Radio EDP. If you've been on this channel for a minute, you know I always rock with Vintage EDP. I believe this deserves more attention than what it's got. The top notes are fruity and fresh from the lavender, sage, and bergamot. The lavender pairs flawlessly with the bergamot's citrusy aroma for a bright and aromatic opening. In the middle notes, there's plum, palo santo, and black pepper. The plum's fruity profile blends greatly with the citrus aroma of the bergamot, with the Palo Santo enhancing that same scent. And the black pepper adds a cozy warmth, with its dry spiciness contrasting effortlessly with the juicy and fruity notes. In the base, there's sandalwood giving off a creamy warmth that comes off luxurious and soft, while the amberwood comes off resinous, complementing these woody aromas. The fragrance community needs to talk about this more. If I was never told that this is a clone fragrance, I would have thought it was a niche fragrance, to be honest. Moving on to a clone of one of my favorite fragrances, Ameer Al Oud. Can you guess what this is cloning? By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. They start off cozy from the introduction of saffron, giving a subtle exotic spiciness, and nutmeg carries a dry woody spiciness, amplifying this fragrance's depth. Next, you might be wondering, what is giving this spicy and woodiness to this fragrance? Well, that would be the geranium and woody notes. In addition to those notes, there's labdanum giving this fragrance a clean, bright freshness to it. On the dry down, there's oud leather and vanilla, with the oud and leather giving this fragrance a darker and cozier feel, while the vanilla plus the spice give this a great combo. I'm gonna keep it real with you. By the Campfire is smoother than this. And scent-wise, it smells just like it, and for the price, it's worth being in your collection. Again, another favorite bottle design, Lattafa. You can't keep getting away with these tough bottles, bruh. We have Lattafa Eternal Oud. I've said it in a previous video, and I'm gonna say it again. This reminds me of the Erd tree from Elden Ring. Back to the fragrance, this starts out with plum and grapefruit. The plum gives off a rich, juicy, luxurious sweetness, and the grapefruit's tart sharpness balances out its own and the plum's sweetness. In the heart, there's floral notes such as heliotrope and orchid, enhancing and leading us to the base notes, which is all these gourmand notes like vanilla, tonka bean, benzoin, and amber, bringing a creamy, warm, sweet, vanilla-like scent together with labdanum to give it a fresh edge. With this, you don't only get an appealing bottle, but an alluring aroma for $68. Here I have for you a more vibrant, fruity fragrance. It is Qaed Al Fursan EDP. Top notes consist of wild berries, pineapple, bergamot, and apple, giving you the wear an aroma burst of sweet, fruity juiciness, patchouli giving this an earthy edge, then jasmine and rose giving off a velvety smooth feel and sweet floral aroma. In the base, you'll find oak moss, which amplifies that earthy edge, and vanilla smoothing the sweetness of the fruits out. Since you're looking for clone fragrances, why don't you go check out my 10 clone fragrances for life video.